Welcome to the Scoop with Dukes. I'm your host, Philip Dukes, aka Dukes the Scoop. Check me out on Twitter and Instagram at Dukes the Scoop. And please be sure to hit the like and subscribe button. If you have not become a member yet, please scroll to the bottom of the description. You will see a link where you can become a member. This is another AU Scoop, and today I want to talk about a question that I've been asked a million times over the past couple of days, and that is, has Coach Hugh Freeze lost the locker room? Reason being, we know what happened with Damari Alston redshirting and the subsequent press conference where Coach Freeze, in my opinion, could have worded things differently. And it caused a reaction from teammates who felt as if they needed to show Damari support, where it kind of looked like, Coach Freeze could have worded it differently. Okay, cool. And some people are taking that show of support for Damari as choosing sides. And some people feel like that show of support for Damari means that the locker room isn't listening or paying attention to Coach Freeze. I think when we talk about losing a locker room, we gotta talk about what it means to have a locker room. So when things are going well and you're winning football games, anything that you say, it seems like when everything is going good, winning cures all. And where we are right now, as far as with the Auburn situation, is that you're losing ball games. You start out 0-3 in the SEC, and then you have a captain that asked to redshirt, and now people are like, well, why would a captain ask to redshirt? I think these things have no bearing on losing the locker room at all. I think this situation was part of the new age of college football and where we are right now. So my answer to the original question is, has Hugh Freeze lost the locker room? I say not at all. I would say that one of the biggest reasons that he hasn't is the level of recruiting that he's done over the past couple of years has made this one of the most professional rosters in college football. You're attracting 4 and 5 stars and you're recruiting at a top 10 level. The only school in the top 10 last year with the losing record was Auburn University when it comes to recruiting rankings. You're recruiting guys at a level who were offered gobs and gobs of money in NIL, name, image, and likeness, to go play in different places, and or more so revenue share now, where they can command 5 to, some players could even command up to 8% of a total revenue share. You got you got some guys who can 1.5, 1.8. And if it's 21, $22 million, that's around 8%. Check my math, but I would say somewhere in there. Auburn, let's say Auburn, a lot of people feel as if Auburn has a $25 million roster. And if, let's make another round number. Let's say there's 100 people on the team. 100 people on the team. Yeah, let's say the roster is at 25 million. 100 people on the team. That means on average, you've got 100 players making $250,000. On average, $250,000. I've been in the I've been making six figures for a while now. My best year in six figures was making 250 grand. My best year at 42 years old. 2 degrees, a master's of business. I got an MBA, master's of business administration, and I've got my undergrad degree from Auburn. I've been in the workforce for 20 years. There are a lot of people who will never make $250,000. Auburn's roster on average is $250,000 if that $25 million is correct. Let's say it's 20 million, right? Let's say it's 20 million. Then that number goes to 200,000. That's still a ton of money for 18 through 22-year-old. A ton of money. With that money comes responsibility. Now, I think these players, while some may not be as financially responsible as others, and some may not be as mature as others, when you recruit a certain level of player, they understand what football has given them. They understand the business aspect of this because you can see the financial ramifications of what football has done for them. My take as far as the Damari Alston situation potentially being the backbreaker or the straw that broke the camel's back when it comes to Coach Freeze losing the locker room. This is a locker room full of professionals that understand the business. So that was why they were able to understand and show love to Damari, because they understand that this is a business. And a lot of them, and I've talked to guys personally who've said, and we've even posed the question, and this is me talking to a couple of players, if it's your senior year and it's not going the way you would want, would you exercise your right to redshirt? Some said yes, some said no, but they all understood. And that's just where college football is right now, whether you like it or not. So there are times where being a professional hurts, or the connotation of being a professional is bad. It's like, oh, well, they just giving these kids all this money. And there are other times where it's good because, well, you're getting paid, you need to play. So this is one of those times where inadvertently it may seem as if what happened earlier in the week could have broken the team. But I believe that this could galvanize this team as they understand that they're in more of a professional situation than ever before. You're only good as your next piece of film. You're only good as your last play. You don't know what's going to happen. A lot of these guys understand that they need to put their best foot forward, regardless of what's going on, whether they like it or not, because they're professionals and they know that their livelihood depends on this. That's where the college football game is. I think there are so many people that are focused on what they have to do that they're able to compartmentalize emotions if they have them. And I'm not even saying every player is emotional. I'm saying that if they are, if there were players who felt like the fracture line for being a cohesive team was the most current situation, that they would be able to look past it because they know that Missouri's coming to town on Saturday, and I can't afford to put out bad film, because even if I wanted to leave, I still can't go out and do something that will hurt the team, because just as important now as a professional as the name on the front of my jersey and that logo on my helmet, if I do something wrong on this field, it's going to affect the name on the back of my jersey. So I don't expect anything less than Auburn's best effort this weekend, because the level of recruiting that you've done, that Hugh Freeze has done, has put a roster in place where if you're able to get the most out of the talent on this roster, you're going to win way more games than not. I don't think the off-field stuff can lose a locker room as much as what happens on the field. If the offense puts up points, I believe the defense is going to ball regardless. If the offense puts up points, this is a 5-1 team. This team could really and truly, you look at the points that the offense has put up over the losses, 17, 10, and 10. This is really a potential. You're a couple of plays away. Let's take the offense out of it. Let's just talk about fair officiating. I think the fact that this team knows that they're fair, some you give decent officiating, and this is a 5-1 team. Just decent. It doesn't have to be great. So I think that also plays a part in this team sticking together because they know how close they are to being good. There are gonna be other guys that have to make business decisions, and they may not like the way that Coach Freeze may word what he says. And I think that if somebody else were to leave, Coach Freeze would word it the right way this time because he saw the blowback. Like, I think he would be a lot more careful with his words going forward. And, at the end of the day, he's a football coach. He's not a wordsmith. But with that being said, I think these kids understand what's at stake. I think these players, these young men, I gotta stop saying kids so much. These young men understand what's at stake. They understand. I mean, you go into Jordan-Hare Stadium, you see that light show. You see 90,000 people going crazy. You go through Tiger Walk, and you see that Auburn spirit. I think it's easy to compartmentalize where you are and get into the moment. Let's say Coach Freeze did lose the locker room. If that offense goes out and put up 35, life goes on. Winning cures all. You know what'll lose the locker room more than anything? Another 10-point performance. That's what will lose the locker room. And I think that's where the team is focused. Putting points on the board, supporting the defense, and playing complementary football. I think that defense is going to bite. They've been biting all year. They bite. And they haven't had a lot of help. And even with that, we've seen teams become fractured along the line of offense and defense. And I don't think this is one of those times. I think this team is still jointed. They still understand Coach Freeze is the leader. And they how many times has your boss said something that you didn't like, but he was still your boss and you had to go to work the next day? It's part of the business at this point. It's been plenty of times I've worked and my boss may have said something weird, and I'm like, all right. And I may talk to a coworker or two and say, why the hell would he say that? I don't like that. But you get up and you go to work the next day. This ain't Little League. This ain't Pop Warner. This ain't, I'm gonna just go to the next park or I'll sit out the rest of this year. These are high-level elite football players who have a chance to make millions of dollars. They're gonna compartmentalize and make sure they play. And the more we understand the business portion of it, and we just accept the fact that college football is a multi-billion-dollar business, and that these players probably still aren't getting the proper share of how much money is being made. Just because they weren't getting paid before doesn't make what they're getting paid right now. The institution of not playing players and saying all you get is an education and these schools and these, these whoever, the fat cats, the big guys at the top get to make all the money. That doesn't make it right just because that's what we've seen in the past. And I think these guys are making a lot of money to play. And don't get me wrong, these guys are making a ton of money. Like I said, the average, if Auburn has a $25 million roster, which a lot of people think they do, then that means that, put it like this. There was a report that came out that Arkansas was at around $17 million for their total roster. If Arkansas was at 17, I know Auburn is at least 20 something. And even having 100 players on Arkansas's roster, that means the average salary is $170,000. These are professionals, but they're young professionals with a lot of money. But I do think that these guys, for the majority of guys on Auburn's roster, are able to compartmentalize and understand that this is a business, able to look at the situation that happened in the past or what happened with Damari Alston and Coach Freeze probably not choosing his words the best way for some players. I think they can look at that as that's just words. I got a job to do anyway. And I believe, and I know for a fact Coach Freeze said something to the effect of, I didn't mean it about Damari's character. So yeah, do I think Coach Freeze has lost the locker room, especially because of that situation? No, because these guys are pros. Do I think that if Auburn goes out and puts up another 10 points, that will start to have people lose faith in the offense? But even then, these guys know that they got to go out there and do their best. Because just like somebody going to work for a Fortune 500 company, yes, you want to represent the name on the front, but the name on the back, the name on your work badge, when you go into that office, at the end of the day, when it becomes a business, that's who you truly work for. All right, that's my time. I appreciate you guys. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. And if you haven't already, go to mybookie.ag, mybookie.ag, and use my code, the letter DSCOOP, and deposit 50, 100. Deposit some money, they'll match it, and your first bet is free. All right, guys, take it easy.